And I remember going into this church service. This pastor was preaching about Jonah. And it was as if God opened up the windows of my soul. And he spoke to me, "Stop running, Daniel." And shortly after that, my little brother died. So 2019 was probably the toughest year I've ever had to live through. I remember I was struggling with addiction. It started small. It started at my ankles, and that water of addiction just started to creep up to my neck. Went from one thing to another. I was struggling with hard drugs. I remember being so depressed, distraught, feeling like I could just never beat it. You know, me and my brother, we would run around chasing every high to try to make us complete, but nothing worked. It seemed the more I reached for the drugs, the more it brought me down. Drove this old beat up 1997 Lincoln Town car, man. Only one window went down, and that was only because we busted it out. Have about 6 people in there smoking cigarettes, just hurting, looking for a way out. So I continued to run this high, led me to jail, led me to addiction, led me to violence, even gang violence. Became a gang member. You know, my name's Daniel, is named out of the Bible. Never would have thought I would become something like this. But I suppose sin's deceitful. So yeah, brought me to my knees, my addictions, my running from God, my running from my upbringing in the faith. Brought me to my knees and put me in a prayer closet, and it was in a prison or a jail cell. I cried out in a jail cell, "God help me. I have fallen so far from you. If you will just help me, I'll follow you." And so I get out of this jail cell, nowhere to stay, living in sin. My mom says, "Hey, come to church. You can stay with us. Just turn back to God. Come to church." And I remember going into this church service, hardened. God can't change me. God can't help me. And it was in a church that this pastor was preaching about Jonah. And it was as if God opened up the windows of my soul and just looked in, and he read my book. And he spoke to me, "Stop running, Daniel." And it was a very impactful, powerful moment when that happened. Began to turn back to him, and shortly after that, my little brother died in a car accident. Best friend, ride or die. People used to think we were twins, you know. And I remember being crushed, broken. And but I heard about this church that he had given his life to the Lord there. And if you knew Joseph, he was 100% full-on party animal, crazy dude all the time. Him and Jesus just seemed like that would never happen. But I heard of a place where he actually found God. And I went to check that place out, and it was Temple City Church. And I came in with my thrift store leather jacket, right? And I came in with my thrift store leather jacket to something that was called church on a Friday night. I just heard they got church on a Friday. That was my party time. That was my destructive times. Let's go check it out. And boom, it was just like hitting everything that had destroyed me, that was brushed in the closet in many churches. Everything that had destroyed me was on full blast. We're shining light on it. Pastors were talking about their weaknesses. People look like me, the thugs, the outcasts, the prostitutes, the alcoholics, the suicidal. People with depression, they were talking about it. They were there. The wealthy, the poor, they were all there. Black, white, Hispanic. I had never seen anything that diverse. There were people who looked just like me, were not putting on the makeup. They weren't dressing up, but they were finding joy. Not joy from circumstance, but joy from something deeper. They were finding him. And I said, wow, I can see why he liked this. And so it's been 5 years. 5 years. And this church has meant the world to me. Pastor Rodney Pierce, when I first heard him preach, I remember thinking, wow, that is a bold man of God. And I would take my handouts, and that would be my weekly assignment. That I'd take those handouts, and I'd be like, okay, well, I'm falling short here. I'm going to work on this here. I'm going to work on this and that. So I'd take my handouts, and I've experienced growth in service, growth in the Word of God, and through the fellowship at Temple City Church. I've experienced freedom from addictions. I've been 5 years free from that. It was a former student pastor at Temple City Church that told me about a Bible college that I now go to. So I've grown in the Word of God through that. Many areas of growth. To the person who is not sure about church, to the person who may be running from God, I would encourage you and even plead with you to give Temple City Church a try. And if it doesn't work, you've got a misery back guarantee. You've tried everything. You've tried to fit in. You've tried the drugs, the alcohol, the pride of life. You've tried it all. Why not give this church a try? Maybe your last church hurt you. Maybe someone who opposes the faith has told you there's nothing for you there. It is a lie of the enemy. I want to encourage you today to come fellowship with us at Temple City Church. We're messed up sinners. We're broken, but we're broken at the feet of Jesus. And if we humble ourselves before Him, He will lift us up in due time. Don't let the enemy stop you from what God is trying to do. You can be used, you are loved, and you can find hope through Jesus right here at Temple City Church.